guys, what's going on? Legendary here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP run, episode 146. So, I recently was on Discord and noticed that they are showing us like a little sneak peek of the dragon. And he actually looks quite crazy. He's going to be taking flight, which I mean really makes sense. It's just not necessarily something that I'm used to. Obviously, in the older RuneScape, you didn't have to worry about him taking flight. I think it's going to change the battle quite drastically, and I just think it's going to be a little bit interesting. I know that was just an example, so we obviously have to wait for quite some time to see what the actual fight is going to look like. So, not really sure what that's all going to really entail, but I'm rather interested to see because I think it's going to be obviously there's going to be some of them around things that are important, and then there's probably going to be some of them around things that aren't really that important. Um, Obviously, you can't have it where it's always going to be one of them near things that we need. But there's got a little bit a bit of randomness to it. But really interested to see how the fight's going to go because it does look a little bit difficult, which is fine. I notice I'm not really having any loading problems right here, and I think that's actually due to the fact that I got rid of quite a bit of things. I'm not sure why all of a sudden now I can play the game a little bit more easily. Normally the lag is unbearable because of all the stuff I got built, but I'm actually quite happy about that. But anyway, let's get back to the Lesser Dragon. Um, Obviously we've got lots of work to do right now in the game. We already got a lot of different things. That's not Lesser Dragon talk, is it? But jumping back to Lesser Dragon, it's going to be complicated. I think it's going to be definitely a little bit difficult. Um, Looking forward to it though, absolutely, and just gonna have to wait and see what that looks like. As is it should be complicated, but hopefully it's not to the point where you're sort of running around trying to gather resources, and it's unimaginably terrible, and just ultimately makes it so chaotic you can't even do anything in the game without smashing your head against a wall. So we're gonna have to wait and see what that looks like. And then obviously as the difficulty goes up, you're going to see even more difficult fights. And I think it's gonna be quite interesting just to see uh the the upgrades on it, and sort of like as you get to the blue dragon and then the red dragon, and to sort of just see how they work their way up in difficulty. Hopefully, the dragon itself. I mean, I think they've learned quite a bit, right? So I don't think they're gonna just bust out with this dragon that's insanely hard to kill, and then have to go back and nerf it. Hopefully not, because I think that they learned probably potentially with Velgar that didn't go over so well for a lot of people. Even though I mean, I'll say Velgar was irritating, but at the same time, I mean, Velgar was a little bit irritating, but at the same time, that's what they made for the game. So even though it could be frustrating, I was willing to sort of play through that because I felt like it was something that they put in the game, and it's a survival game, and you don't want to make the game too easy to the point where it just doesn't feel like there's a threat. Because I think there needs to be a threat, definitely. Vaults in the very beginning were a little bit tricky, but I feel like as I progressed and got better armor and things like that, um definitely it made things a little bit easier. But I'm not sure. Like I'm really excited about the dragons, but the fact that they take flight, they look a little bit. It's just crazy. I just imagine myself sort of like cutting wood, and a huge fireball just sort of flies down and blasts me and wipes me out, and it's going to be quite interesting. I'm sure they're going to have some sort of like fire effect, sort of maybe I wouldn't say a bleed effect, right? Because, but then again, I'm not sure how that mechanic is going to play into that. So just gonna have to wait and see. But really excited about the teaser. I'm surprised it wasn't a bigger teaser since we're now about a month away from the actual update coming into the game. I would have thought that potentially they would have showed us quite a bit more. So I'm not sure when that's actually going to happen as far as showing us more, but I will keep checking Discord, and then It's quite exciting though. If you haven't had an opportunity yet to see um, the teaser for the Lesser Dragon, I definitely recommend you maybe pop over to Discord and take a look at that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, we've got some food cooking at our base right now. So we sort of started this episode, and then we had a pop up come onto our computer, and I don't know why it happened, but it sort of captured that. It was just something to sort of like Firefox. It was weird because that's the browser that I use. So I don't know why it did that. I need to put another lodestone here. There's like a really good area right here. I don't know why there's not one here, but there's obviously lots of good resources over here, so going to have to do that eventually. But hopefully everyone had a good holiday, Halloween. I mean, I don't know if I'd really call it a holiday. I mean, I would, but at the same time, uh, might be debatable whether or not people consider that Halloween a holiday. So that's why I wasn't quite sure. But so many bad guys out here, and I mean, I need so much XP in certain skills like attack. I'm sorry, not attack, but more so range and magic. But obviously, these things all take time, and you just sort of got to pick which attack style you want to focus on, and then sort of go for it. So it's a little bit tricky at times, deciding whether or not that's the one that you actually want to work on. So interesting. Now I've got to try to get closer to this without actually picking up all this lots in our inventory. We're gonna have to go over here and put our raw food away so we can actually pick up all the cooked food. But we just really want more content in the game. I think that's the big thing. So I'm actually quite excited to see um, the change. I'm sure everyone else is as well. It's just I don't know. Um, need more material in the game, content, and so, but really excited to start messing around with all the different things, and so many unanswered questions that I'm gonna be so happy once they are answered. I think primarily is how is XP going to apply itself in regards to skills that are already level 50. That's going to be interesting to sort of see how they go about that. So if you're max, is it going to transfer over? Which I'm like 99% sure it is, but it's still more so like I want to just sort of see how that's going to go. I'm interested in a new content for Valhalla, which is basically just graphics. It's going to be like the new creatures to fight, sort of like how I fight sheep and ram and rats now and things like that. Like, I'm interested to see which animals they choose. I think that's going to be quite fun to be able to sort of mess around with all these new monsters and creatures and check out potentially new vaults, the actual battle between the lesser dragon, things like that, as well as new quests and just, I mean, I don't know, collecting a ridiculous amount of new resources, trees. I remember in the old RuneScape there was a tree that sort of attacked you at some point. I can't even remember the whole basis behind it, but it was actually quite fun. Uh, let's see. Trying to find some rats to kill, but I can't seem to find anything right now. There used to be two goblins here that used to spawn, and they don't even spawn there anymore. So I'm not quite sure why that is. That sometimes you just sort things just sort of stop spawning where they're supposed to. It's quite interesting actually. Maybe I built something somewhere, um, that sort of messed up their respawn trigger, but there's really nothing over there, so I'm not sure what that would have been. I'm just sort of trying to see if I can find a an abyssal demon, even though I'm really not that super interested in it, as they're sort of. I mean, it's easy to kill them with melee, but when you're gonna go any other route, it's not really that easy. I figure I'm over here. I might as well grab these two chests. I mean, they've got some pretty good things in them. I wish feathers were easier to get without having to open up all my goblin packs. But yeah, Really excited to see more teasers for Valhalla to come to the game. Not sure when we're gonna get those teasers, but very much so looking forward to that. I think there's some rats for this so far. Let's see. I guess we're gonna go kill some rats, but then we're gonna get shot by some arrows. So why don't we sort of take care of that before it's even a problem? There we go. Is that other guy shooting at me too? It looked like potentially. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing the rats, so the whole reason I sort of came over here. Maybe back. No. So, well, we killed a goblin archer and got a little bit of herbs that I don't really necessarily need. So let's pick up whatever else got built on the ground. And then we got quite a bit of cooking XP too, so that's pretty good. We're going to have to figure something out with these chests because it seems now that they're already full. And I don't want things to get absolutely out of control where it's usually how it gets. So I've got to be a little bit careful how I go about all this. See, already not good at all. Let's see. Okay, so it's so important not to let your base get completely trashed. It makes it so much harder later to fix it. But let's see. I wonder if Blurite's back. Let's go take a look. The the Vault Guardians are not back. Otherwise, I would fight them just so I could potentially just get some more Vault shards and a little bit of XP. So we might have the Vault. He's back, so that's okay though. Here we go. It seems like he's going down quite fast. Normally, it would seem like it would take a little bit more to kill him, but let's take a look. But yes, I mean, talk about sometimes. I don't want too much spoilers, but at the same time, it would be sort of cool just to see what we've got coming. So it's a little bit tricky. It's like tell us too much, and then it's not as exciting when we see it for the first time. Because when I first turned this game on, I had no idea what was going to happen. I literally was like just totally unaware, and that adds a lot, right? If you sort of spoil everything and then you jump on a game, you're like not surprised. It's also quite nice how they don't tell us quite everything. Obviously, players figures things out, and then it allows us to sort of go off that. But the fact that they don't share every little detail, I think actually makes the game a lot better because then we're sort of forced to figure it out for ourselves, which is quite nice because it adds an element of exploration and adventure to a different level, and I actually quite appreciate that. So it looks like these guys are back. I wish I could fight them with magic, but it just it's so terrible. But we're gonna go ahead and try to use fire and just see if we can potentially survive and get a little bit of XP. But the Archon is obviously going to be a lot harder to kill. Um, but this is working okay for the Sentinel. But like I said, the Archon's not going well, and now I'm getting completely annihilated. So we're gonna have to change our style here if we want to survive. Absolutely ridiculous, honestly. I should have a ward stone anyway, but still ridiculous. I think we might just abandon the possibility of winning this because I'm not trying to die right now just for that. So let's get out of there. Head back to our base. No, there's some more food. So let's pop a cooking potion, pick up the food. Actually, a ward stone would actually be quite nice as well. So much stuff I want to still do in the game. Um, but we're on our way, and I'm able to imagine that we're about a month and a couple days away from the update. I'm not 100% sure what day in December it's going to be coming out, so I really absolutely have no idea. So, by speculation, and just I'm sure everyone's wondering. We got blue-eye ore. Let's go ahead and take care of that really quick. But after this blue-eye ore is done, so we're going to collect a little bit of resources while it's doing that. And then we are probably going to do an XP update and then call it a day. Let's see if I wish, you know what, I've got an idea. And it didn't work because I was too slow. But I had this idea that if I could potentially blast a fireball over there, then it might be able to kill multiple deer. But I don't really think I thought that through, to be quite honest, because, you know, the spells aren't that powerful, so it's very possible that it wasn't even going to do enough damage anyway to really kill them efficiently. So it's actually quite crazy. It's probably not as effective against the Garu, but the goblins actually it worked nicely with. I got to keep in mind though they are only level, was it 1 or 2, right? Let's see. I think it was 2. It's 2. So it's just gonna be crazy when you get inside Fell Hollow and the progression again to getting to higher level creatures. It's actually quite fun to sort of have to get to a point where you've got these things chasing you down, trying to kill you. I know for some people that might not seem like fun, but just the whole development as a player, it can actually be quite fun to have to learn to strategically stay alive and combat something that you have no experience with. I think makes for a um, quite exciting adventure. So we're gonna grab the rest of this cabbage and then head back to our base. And I'm noticing, and I'm sure you could tell, I probably sound a little bit different in this video, and that's because I am tired. More so tired than usual actually. It's quite interesting because um I don't know. I sort of I don't know. I'm sure everyone goes through this where you sort of do something and you sort of lose your determination, not so much for playing this game, more so just you're just wiped out, you're tired. I have been really busy lately though. But anyway, let's go ahead and do an XP update. Sorry if potentially my interaction in the video wasn't quite as I guess uh loud as normal. I felt like potentially it wasn't as sort of flowing. But anyway, let's go ahead and do an XP update. I still think we did quite a bit in the video. Attack XP 336,000. We've got range 72,000 XP. We've got woodcutting 1,004,000. Construction 2,014,000. Rune crafting 1,001,000. Magic 126,000 XP. Mining 4,259,000. Artisan 4,132,000. And cooking 557,000. So I don't know if there's enough time before Valhalla comes to the game to actually get cooking to 1,000,000 XP. I feel like 750 to 800,000 is more likely what we're going to be able to achieve, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So we're just going to have to wait. But I'm just not seeing. I mean, I guess if I played a ridiculous amount behind the scenes, it could create the gap that we're going to need. But I don't necessarily think I need to do that. I think once Valhalla comes to the game, I'm going to be killing all these really weird random creatures. They're sort of just going to be giving me resources, which are going to allow me to do and to be able to get that XP in those skills. So I don't really think it's necessary. But we really hope you guys are enjoying our content. And sorry, Ben, about this episode. It was just sort of, I don't know, extremely tired. But obviously want to put the time in and keep to um, working towards our goals in RuneScape Dragonwilds, and hopefully you guys are enjoying your adventures in RuneScape Dragonwilds. And until next time, Legion Nuda out.